it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Papermaze. And this month I'm working with the Simple Vintage Indigo Garden collection from Simple Stories, and it's been long awaited for me. I saw the reveal of this by Simple Stories ages ago, and it's been a painful wait for it to reach us over in the UK, but it's finally landed at Papermaze and it's already uploaded onto the website. I'll pop a link in the description box below to the Papermaze store so you can head over and check it out. And I have been informed that it's already been discontinued by Simple Stories, so I'm not sure that restocks will be coming, so grab it whilst you can. I've got a feeling it's going to sell pretty fast because it is an absolutely stunning collection, and these papers, oh, they're just so pretty. I'm absolutely in love with them. So for today's layout, I'm scrapping a photo of my little boy. We recently went up to our local National Trust site. We've got Waddesdon Manor up the road, and we went to see the snowdrops. And we go every year. They've got what's called a tulip garden there. We've never actually been when the tulips are all in bloom, so I've never seen tulips in the tulip garden. But in the winter, at the end of the winter, they do have loads of snowdrops there, and they're stunning. So I've got this photo of my little boy holding a bunch, and you've got loads of snowdrops in the background as well, so it's a really cute little photo. And it gives me the perfect opportunity to use some of the floral papers in the collection. So I've got flowers in my photo and flowers on my pattern papers. And some of them are bordering on a little bit girly for me, with pink flowers and such, and a couple of them are quite busy for me, and I get a bit scared of busy papers, so I have to do something to kind of break the busyness down and balance it out with white space. So what I'm doing for today's layout is cutting some of the pattern papers into strips. They are 1.5 inches wide, and then I'm going to distress all the edges and curl the ends of the paper up, so on the left and right hand side, curling that back and rolling the paper in on itself. It just distresses it a bit more, brings a bit of texture to the page, and it also reveals the pattern on the other side of the paper. So if you're going to do this, just make sure it's a paper that you like the reverse of as well, and it's not like a journaling cut apart sheet or anything that might not work. But yeah, I love how this looks. So you bring in the texture on the page, and it also, you just get that hint of the pattern on the reverse. And I'm cutting these strips at different lengths, so I've got the shortest one at the top, coming down to the longest one across the centre of the page, and then back down to a short one again. And I've got a mix of busy papers and kind of, it's not a solid paper, this kind of sage green one, it's got a little white polka dot pattern in it, but it almost reads as a solid. It's not busy at all. It's almost like a coloured paper, so that breaks it up nicely. And as well as that, I've got all the white space around the outside, so it just kind of breaks down those busy papers but still allows me to use them and get those patterns and colours on my page. And for now, I'm just getting these papers stuck down with a tiny bit of double-sided tape. I am going to run them through my sewing machine off camera in a minute. I'm just going to do a straight running stitch all the way through the centre of each one with white thread. I do uncurl those edges and just kind of hide the sewing under that. I don't stitch all the way to the edge, obviously, because I need to be able to roll that paper back over. But it's easier to unravel those so that you can get the stitching in place, so your needle's not going through the rolled bit, if that makes sense. And hopefully you'll see it a bit clearer in the close-ups in a minute. And then I'm also fussy cutting some of the tiny butterflies. I think there are 2 pattern papers in this collection that have little butterflies on. You've got one with a lighter background and one with a darker background, and they are absolutely beautiful. But they make for perfect sort of tiny little embellishments that you can just adorn the page with, just one here and there. And the die cut packs have got some larger butterflies in as well, so it's really nice to mix and match the colours and sizes. So just skip through the rest of that fussy cutting process and also the machine stitching for you. And you can see I've just done one stitch through the centre of each strip of paper there to hold them in place. And I love the texture that machine stitching or even hand stitching brings to a page. Just think having that thread on the page just gives it a bit more interest. So always try and machine stitch or hand stitch where I can. And now I'm getting to work on my photo. So I've mounted it onto a layer of white cardstock to start with, just to give it a bit of separation from all the papers and the embellishments on the background. And then I'm adding a couple of layers of pattern papers behind it. So we've got the B side, I think that is, of one of the papers, lovely yellow and white checkered or gingham pattern. And then behind that, I'm going to add a layer of navy basil cardstock. On the Papermaze website, you'll see that Vanessa always does a kind of matchmaker pack. So every time we get a new collection in, she'll do a pack of basil cardstock to go with it in all the colours that sort of coordinate with the kit. So because I've got some navy in the background of that floral pattern paper, and there's also a lot of navy in my photo of my little boy's coat and scarf, so I wanted to bring a bit more navy to the page, just a darker colour to help give a bit of drama and make things pop. So I've done that layer of navy behind my photo. And now I'm trying to think of where I want my title to go. So these are the foam stickers for the collection, and I absolutely adore these. All the Simple Stories collections have these, and they're just one of my favourite products. They're just so easy to use, and they always have such beautiful fonts. So I've selected the pink one, funnily enough. After saying I'm trying to hide girly things, I've gone with the pink title just because I have got hints of pink on the page. I don't want to hide it and disguise it too much. I do want to embrace the pink. So I've selected the favourite foam sticker for my title, and I had a little bit of a play trying to decide where I wanted it to go, and I've just popped it to the side now so I can just figure out where I want other things to go. And I've also pulled off another one of those foam stickers. It's like a little notepad with a bulldog clip that says "Seize the Day," and I've stuck that just to the top of my photo there at an angle. And now I'm just going through the die cut packs. So you get two of this collection, you get the bits and pieces, and then you get the floral bits and pieces, and you have to have both because they're both absolutely stunning. So I'm just pulling out some of the floral pieces that I can tuck either side of my photo. And then I've pulled out a little kind of like a torn off notepad bit that says "Love this most." I'm going to have that over on the left hand side. I'm also going to stitch through that as well, just so that it's got the stitch through the centre, and I can kind of turn the top and bottom up, fold it up a bit, again just for a bit more dimension. Love the way that looks. And I'm raising some of these floral pieces up with foam behind them, again dimension and texture. I hate having everything flat on a page. I have to have sort of that 3D look to it, and that allows me to kind of layer and texture, layer and cluster. So I do get through a lot of foam and foam pads creating my layouts, but I do love to have that 3D look. And as I mentioned earlier, you get loads of butterfly die cuts with this collection. So I've pulled out some of the larger ones, a pink one up the top there, a white and yellow one I'm going to put to the top of my photo, and then a navy one down the bottom. And then I'm going to have the little ones that I've fussy cut kind of going in between. So I'm keeping them mainly to the centre of my page, having some on the white top and bottom and the others on the pattern papers, just like a cascading line of butterflies going down the page. And at the moment I've pulled out a few more bits. You can see them over on the right hand side there. I do have to think about where I could try and fit them on, but I decide that it's just going to crowd my page too much, so they don't actually make it. I'm just getting my butterflies stuck in place. As always, I say this with every video that I have butterflies, I only ever stick the bodies down, so I leave the wings flapping free. I just feel that it makes them look really realistic, like they've just sort of flown onto my page and landed. Obviously once they go into an album they do get flattened out, but because they haven't got any sticky on the back, if I ever want to get the album out and pull the layout out, or decide I want to frame it or anything, it's really easy to just turn those wings back up to bring in that dimension again. So this is me now just stitching through that kind of green tabby notepad bit that says "Love this most." Again, just white running stitch through the centre, and I'm going to get that stuck in place over on the left hand side. So that's in place now. I've also decided to have my title underneath my photo, kind of at an angle. Felt like it sat nicely there. And I'm just trying to get a couple of other bits on the page, but I just decide it's just a few bits too much. They're just crowding the page. They're not really adding anything. And I kind of think if it doesn't add to the page, then there's really no point in it being there. I don't want the page to look like I've just chucked things at it. So like I said, I didn't feel like they added anything, so they got axed. But I'm just going to finish up with a few hearts. I love my little boy to bits, so it didn't feel right to not have any hearts on this page. So they're just some heart stickers from the combo stickers sheet, and I've just added a few in different colours just across the page. And that is me done today. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this layout and it's given you some inspiration. Like I said, this collection is already uploaded onto the website. Grab it quick because it has been discontinued already, so we're not sure at this stage whether we'll get our hands on any restocks at Papermaze. So grab it while you can, and I'll leave a link in the description box below to the store and also to the Papermaze blog. So if you want to see links or names to the exact papers and products I've used, you'll find those over on the blog. But thanks again for joining me. I'll be back later in the month with another collection, but until then, I'll see you next time.